3, 2, 1. And we're live.
Alright, welcome back everybody to Aether's Workshop Starry Eyes, the animation podcast where you submit your animations to get some tips and tricks on how to improve your stuff. I am Sprite Star, and I'm here with Wishstream, and we have yet another special podcast because we have guests.
They couldn't stop me. I joined anyway.
You heard it here first. The moth terrorist himself, Geek, is here. At
No, I just made that guy.
Yeah. But yeah, the gang's all here. And yeah. Yeah. That's not it. No one saw that. Okay.
Hey guys, I'm here in car in the house.
Okay.
Alright. Let's start with the first one.
Let us begin the podcast with one of our submissions. This is a newcomer, if I remember correctly. Has not been on Starry Eyes before, but we've seen him in the extended workshop a little bit, and even in the main server. We got the common writer dude. I think his name is Koga or something like that.
Yeah, like Kuga? I've never
Kuga.
watched the show.
But he is a common writer. And yeah. What we got here.
Freaking common writer.
Yeah. But,
It's him doing the power deck.
Yep.
Power deck.
So who would like to tackle the first bit of advice first?
I can start.
Yeah, you can
Well,
start.
First thing I'm noticing is it's a little shaky. Like it's evidently on the back leg of the leg to our left is like it kind of moves a little erratically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how to put it into words, but it's like I can tell where the keyframes are, and that's probably not a good idea for a single motion like that.
Yeah. It needs to be like, it feels like it needs to be an arc or smoothed out.
Yeah.
In this case, I think it's better to like go into a technique called easing. There's ease in and ease out. We use this on rivals as well in code to like make those smooth motions. For example, like Astra's cards when she puts out her card selection menu, you see that it smooths out as it ends the animation. So something like that. It also applies in animation too. And yeah, it's just called easing. E-A-S-E. There you go, easing.
Yep.
You should look that up. That would help you a lot on this kind of motion.
Thankfully, you could probably fix a lot of the weird jitteriness issues by just changing the frame timings. Because if all the frames were like evenly spaced out on the wind up, then it would probably look fine.
Mm-hmm. This is why easing works.
Yeah.
Okay. My turn.
Yep.
Alright. So immediately the thing that strikes me off is the smear. It just looks really off. In fact, like the smear is, for some unjolly reason, is textured.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like you're supposed to convey a fast motion. You're not supposed to have it textured. It's supposed to be like, what do you call this? A smooth line. So right now it kind of looks like there's suddenly like maybe like a shield that came on.
Yeah.
And also I noticed that the smear doesn't align right as well. Like it's the entire arm, but it ends with just a fist. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's not supposed to be. It's like the fast motion goes to the part where it needs to be like super fast. Like you don't have to basically smear the arm part, just the wrist and the hand on this case.
Yeah.
So it goes to that one single line of action. Because right now it looks like you're going from multiple directions into one direction, which is weird in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's super textured. I can lie.
I've seen a little bit. Well, I've been following this dude's like work because he shows up a lot in the server. And there's one thing that old boy has that would probably be like the best way to help improve all of his animations as a whole. He has this thing where he's afraid to move the body. He's getting there with this animation, yes, but it's pretty stationary on where the body is. My recommendation on trying to like improve the animation, because it's clearly power dunk. It's a very an attack that already has like a reference out there, but power dunk looks powerful because of how the body is turning. Like there's a lot of weight behind what he's doing because he's turning his entire torso in order to get the most out of the arc on where he's going to throw the punch, and then when he goes down he just shoots down, and the body like reflects that with like smearing and all that stuff. I would literally, the best way to help build that like anticipation to get to the smear would to be the turn the torso like inward, like outward a little bit, so you can at least Kuga would look like he's really winding up, instead of it's like, okay, I just gotta lift my hand a little bit and down, you know. It works as a punch, but it can be a lot stronger looking, especially if it's trying to be a power dunk.
Also, I just noticed something. It's weird. The torso doesn't seem to be moving. It's like the arms just being moved.
Yeah. The guy is working on this. I think he's starting to get it out of his habit because he's actually doing better animations outside of this one. I've been following his work like in the server.
Yeah.
But he's very stationary. Like the torso will move when, you know, the actual character will turn around or something. But as far as like an attack or something, it's pretty stationary there. And I think that's the most jarring part about it. He's getting better at it. I will give credit where credit is due. He's getting there. But it's not showing well enough in this animation. Also, the belt. The belt is doing like some weird disappearing parts where the body is not affecting it.
Oh yeah.
His butt disappeared.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But even then, with all this advice, you're getting the job done. And it's like, it's very clear what the move is going to do.
Yeah.
The advice we're giving is to help sell it more.
Mm-hmm. And a
Like
lot of pop.
You could have this animation in the game, and like I don't think anybody would really know.
Yeah. But
Besides just like on a subconscious level, it's like eh.
Yeah, a lot of polish could go a long way. This one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah. A pretty nice submission, well, all things considered. It has a lot of strengths, it has a lot of weaknesses, and the advice that we're giving is going to help a lot. You know where to find us in Modding Critique if you need any extra information later on. But yeah. Let us go on to our next submission, which I need to check our list.
Oh, I'm excited about this one.
Oh, yes. This is going to be a newcomer in more ways than one.
Quote unquote newcomer.
Yeah. this is a collaboration between the designer of Hime and the artist of Liz, and so far delivering a lot of promise within it. And I'm not saying that because I'm super biased, because I kind of help with this, but yeah, we have a nice little double jump with some rocket boots.
Yep, double jump. All right. No, one thing I'm already like thinking, like the moment I saw this, like that's not how legs work in air. Like, what do you call this? It looks like you're standing on a platform.
Yeah,
And
they're just like really
like,
flat when they shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's like if you check like how Iron Man tries to fly, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like standing on a platform. He's trying to balance himself out in the air. And even when the simple double jump like this, it needs to like have like their legs at least adjust a bit. On, like I see this as a time saving move though. Like really, it is just really a time saving move here. But yeah, you could do a lot more with legs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, usually, like, in the air, feet point downwards, because the only reason they're flat on the floor is because there's a floor.
Oh
yeah. It looks like the, actual jets are on the heels and not, like, the toes. Which would give them even more reason to point the feet down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In this case, I don't think you should be afraid to expanding the canvas here and just adjusting it to offset in Rivals.
Yeah.
Really? In any case, it's a very strong animation.
Yeah.
What else do you guys point out here?
Something I noticed, I think the gun needs to move more. Everything kind of locks into place, like, halfway through it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, once the actual jet boots are in full force, then everything's just kind of, like, still, which feels weird. Like, things should kind of, like, drag behind a little bit. Especially moving things like the gun.
So, again, it feels like you're just, like, suddenly just standing on a platform, even though there's no platform there.
Yeah.
Right?
I have a bit of advice, and I think I have a little more extra information about this character because I help with the starting sprite of this. The jacket disappears during the jump. There's no jacket. The rest of the jacket tail is gone.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I just noticed that.
That would also help with the making all the frames make more sense, along with like the feet and the like legs, like moving with the force or just like trying to balance.
Yeah.
Because you can do the same thing that you're doing with the hair on the jacket, and you'll be in the home stretch on that.
Oh yeah.
It's just slight subpixelation there. Especially since it's kind of a short animation as well. This isn't like a absent jump where she like floats for 5 minutes and then finally hits the ground.
Oh yeah, no.
Just slight pixelation there, and then working on the gun and the legs a little bit more. I would think that the trick would to try to have the feet still make sense with the rockets without need. Well, I don't know. You could probably afford to move the flames with it. Like it'll definitely seem more lively because of it. I don't know. The actual like jump, like the fire part of it is pretty fine. Like there's no need to have like a 120 frame animation for just the fire on the boots. So.
I guess it's just emotion, really.
Yeah.
Right?
But
oh yeah. I'm gonna sneak this a little bit in. Shout outs to the programmer of this Hime also programming on this character.
Oh yeah. There's So there's a lot of love going into Rokesha, or however you pronounce her name.
Did we even mention it was Rokesha?
Rokesha?
The character?
No, I literally just remembered the name. Literally right now.
They never returned, right?
Yeah, she's like a hitman or something. Hit woman. I don't know.
Yeah, mercenary.
Assassin.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, shout outs to the Sakamoto for getting this character out there. And shout outs to Slep too. You two collaborating on this is gonna be great. Can't wait to see more of this character. Yeah. Let us move on to our...
Okay, someone's asking, by the way, why is the fire has no border, though? I think it's in case it's because it's demotion. Right?
Like, why doesn't it have an outline?
Yeah, it doesn't have an outline.
You don't
Like
need an outline.
Yeah, not everything in Rivals has a black outline.
Yeah,
and
you know, this is a good place to like address this, because there's a lot of like miscommunication that goes around with that, because people would assume that since it's in Rivals and everything has a black outline, that everything needs a black outline. No, a good example of this would be Zetterburn and Forceburn. Like, Zetterburn's fire doesn't have an outline. It has a weird fire like effect over it, but it works. Oh yeah, you could probably like use a variant of that to simplify the fire, to make it seem more Rivals like for the jet boots.
Oh yeah.
Like just simplifying the fire would like definitely help with that. If the goal was to make it as close to Rivals as possible. But yeah.
But also, I don't think you need outlines for like all of the effects either. It's like, especially for like something short as this one, right? You don't need an outline. Like, I could see like maybe some stationary fire, or one that's very important, like a projectile that you need to like see right away. That's definitely the time you need that red or yellow outline. Note that I said red or yellow, because black is a thing. It's just really reserved for like those that needs to be paid attention to. Like, example, the entire body of a character, right?
It also works hand in hand with like how stages are made as well, because the outline of the stage only applies to where the collision of the character is going to be. Like platforms, side of walls, the floor itself, all those things has outlines. But if you like notice in some of the background work for stuff, like for example, Tower of Heaven, like the background does not have an outline on it because it doesn't need one. You don't wall bounce off of like the actual tower, so
yeah,
it just gives better readability on where you can stand and where you can't stand.
It also kind of serves as like a connecting point. So like example, if it's like detached from like the forearms over the body, right? It's not necessarily cut on the shoulders, but it is cut on like the hands between the body. It kind of helps sell the depth too. And there's also what Nako said in the chat right now, which makes a lot more sense. The black outline is also reserved for things with mass, right?
Yeah,
So,
not necessarily things with mass, just like solid things.
Oh yeah,
because like
solid.
Like if you want to get technical, like technically smoke has mass because it's a bunch of little particles, but it's not solid. It's like gas, kinda.
Oh yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda. Yeah.
But even then, it doesn't need an outline because you don't collide against.
Yeah, like a good example is like Claren swords.
Yeah.
Claren sword doesn't have an outline.
Yeah.
But what do you call this? Zetterburn's fire hair does. Yeah. All right. How about we proceed to the next one before we start rambling on more?
Yeah, there's a lot of weird rules with all that stuff, but that's a conversation for another podcast. We got a good little bit of submissions in, so we want to keep the ball rolling. All right, on to the next one. We got a newcomer. Not newcomer. Why I keep saying newcomer? returning.
It's not a new one.
Uh,
Not this one though.
Yep, returning character, and now with a down tilt. I will start this off right now. Man, that arm don't move like that. That is jelly. That's straight up jelly. I understand the intent on what the animation is going to go, like what it's going for, but this man's double jointed in like 3 different places. Like the shoulder is like in a whack place, the elbow is moving in and out, and then the wrist is trying its best. Again, it's not like it's not a issue of just restart. This is terrible. It's just like, man, just joints.
You got the noodly arms.
Yeah. It's really just about joints on this one. Try to do the pose that you're trying to do with this one, because right now it looks like you're breaking every single joint.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. And other than that, there's also like the swing arc of the dagger. Dagger? Sword? Dagger? I can't tell. The smear is supposed to follow the arc or the curve of where your motion is, not just a simple straight line towards where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to basically make sure that the arc just follows the the smear follows the arc, because right now it looks like you're doing something kind of like that, but at the same time it's just literally just following one line to the other, which kind of looks off, right?
Yeah. It's kind of the same issue as Kuga's from earlier, like in English.
Yeah.
Like the smear just kind of like happens and it doesn't convey a whole lot of motion.
Yeah.
It just kind of connects the dots.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So yeah, just another improvement there. I mean, like, that's probably the first thing I noticed. It's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like Sprite Star just mentioned the joints. It's like, oh no.
Yeah. Also, the smear itself, like, I don't like the actual outline of it. Like, there's a weird, like, dip in the middle of the smear. And, like, that looks weird. It just looks messy.
This
It just looks...
Yeah, this is a smear made by hand. A pro tip for everybody, use the curve line tool. It's not cheating. Trust me, it is not cheating. You're
Yeah.
It just looks better.
If it sounds like cheating, it's probably just a faster way. Like, use all your tools, please. Like,
yeah.
Use all your tools. Like, you have so much tools on you. You better make advantage of it. Like, especially if it's a time save, because like, you know, animation takes a huge ass time to like basically, you know, make, and using shortcuts isn't that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there are some
actually
downsides to using some shortcuts, but like, you know, if you could make it clean enough, or you could make it look nice enough, it would work. Like, even like the animators I know, especially from Steven Universe, like, if you've seen them like zoomed out, it's not fully detailed.
Yeah.
It's just them with like 2 lined eyes, just to cheat on like the depth, making it more like, you know, easier to draw, kind of thing. Yeah, pretty much like that.
Yeah. It's like not using specials because you think that's cheating because they're strong.
Like, you're given the tools to be able to make your art more efficiently, like, faster. That doesn't mean that you can't just use them because of whatever. Like, I'm a purist through and through when it comes to animation. I do stuff the hard way, and I'm an idiot for it. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm big dumb because I don't use the stuff. But like, working on Crystal Oasis, you get really familiar with those things you've been neglecting, because that's a big old stage that I did. And the line tool literally cut all of my time in half. Like, holy shit. Use them things. in
Oh yeah. Here's the thing, right? Someone in the chat, Nathan James, right?
Mhm.
Like, I'm going to just say it word for word here. Like, have you seen Sai animate? Sai, the person who made Mayu and Zeta, Ashikaga. Yeah,
yeah,
like Sai, or basically the full name Sidori. There you go. Just yoinks parts from his other animations, it constantly, and it just works so well. But he just redraws the one he needs to redraw,
yeah.
Yeah.
right?
If
And
nobody can tell, it's not cheating.
It is
Mhm.
not. Splicing
It
is
is not at all.
a completely legitimate thing to do. Do not neglect
Mhm.
it.
Like
And
like my glitch's mushroom cap on half of the frames of his entire animation set. Those are reused. The
Uh-huh.
entire sprite.
Did you know that Astra's jumps are also reused with a dodge?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so if people can't tell, use it. Alright? Save your sanity, don't underestimate your tools, just as what Chilla said in the chat.
Yeah.
Also, Nathan James is apparently supersonic. I didn't know that.
Welcome to the stream.
Okay. You guys have different names on YouTube. Sorry.
I'm sorry, this podcast doesn't have rune support.
Pretty good.
Alright. Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, let's proceed to the next one.
Yeah, work
Yeah.
work on the form and work on the smears. Otherwise, you got an A tier down tilt. All right, let's move on
wait
to
to spam
the.
Mhm.
Ooh, this is gonna be an exciting one.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh gosh.
Ooh.
This person, it just keeps on getting better for some reason. But it's a good thing.
This
I
artist
love
came
it.
literally out of the blue, and
Like out of the blue.
Just
oh
like,
my
wow,
god, those
like-
clouds.
yeah, like
Those clouds.
you.
Alright.
I can say my piece on like the transition out, but clouds are very hard to draw, man. Like that is really good. Like this, I'm starting to think we're getting another Vil situation where it's just like after the first podcast they just become godlike out of nowhere, and this is like, well, we can't put them on the podcast anymore because it's gonna be 30 minutes of us gushing about what they're doing.
Okay. I am an extreme stickler for cloud animations. I am an expert on cloud animations. Don't ask. The cloud animation is good, but they're a little sticky. And I don't really like how it kind of has a lot of tiny little clumps at the very last frames of it. Like
Oh
it-
yeah, they linger way too long, right?
yeah, it's a little noisy when clouds should not be noisy. They should be wispy. They should like they should form like an overall shape that like because of the wind and all that.
Yeah.
But just having a bunch of tiny little dots feels weird for a cloud. It feels more like like the way they stick onto the body, and also the way they kind of like they look noisy at the end. It reminds me more of shaving cream than cloud. Which helps because she has a knife.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean that could all obviously just be fixed by just like adding adding a couple extra pixels to like smooth it out, right? Like just make make it not as sharp at the ends, and essentially wherever it's going to be curving, just curve it more.
Yeah.
A technique that I've picked up on dissipating elements that, you know, there's like literally made of an element. I do this for Olympia. Well, yeah, I still use it for Olympia. So you have, if I'm counting correctly, 3 colors for the clouds, right? So instead of it just taking away more and more mass as it just is going on, since most of the time the backgrounds are going to be darker than the cloud itself that you're using, just keep have it transition between like the white to the light blue to the dark blue, and then nothing.
Yeah.
That alone will solve that wispy thing, because you could still do like the curl, right? You could, I think, yeah, a little
That
bit
might
of
be a
it.
stylistic choice.
Yeah, I mean it's still there, but like it's not dissipating enough is the problem, and you have enough frames to do it, because you can still use the frames where she's gonna turn to do the rest of those frames, and it would not affect it at all. Like, it will actually be strong. You actually did it at the very end of the longest trail at the bottom. It actually does that, but it isn't doing it for the rest of the sprites, which is why it looks so disjointed.
Mm-hmm. And like, I just noticed this, that like they look like they fade out at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. Like
Clouds don't work that way.
yeah,
Or they-
just like pick a couple clouds at random and just have them linger for a couple more frames.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
what I
It's
also
like,
did.
what do you call this?
That's what I also did with Olympia's Sparkles. You can definitely tell it from her for her taunt animation that each one has its own, well, taunt animation and her down special. Each one fades away at a different, like, a different time. It just works. I can't tell you the science behind it. It just looks visually appealing, and sometimes you just got to go for it.
I could tell what's the science behind it, though. At least for clouds. Alright. If the mass, or like the size of it, is a lot bigger, it fades out slower. And if it's thinner, right, that's the time that, it fades out faster.
Yeah, it's like microwaving something big versus something small.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Alright. How about, instead of the clouds, how about the animation itself? Because I immediately noticed it's a back stance immediately to a front stance without turning.
Oh yeah. I can definitely tell you spent all your time on the clouds. Not to say that's a bad thing. It's totally a good thing. But if you're already shooting for gold here, right? Like, you've already got the gold medal just by freaking attempting all of this at once. But if you want platinum, then you could do something where instead of her just like he, she, it, where whoever the gender of this character is, they, yeah. Instead of them just standing there and then smear frame into the idol animation, you could do like a knife flourish into the idol animation.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah, just to sell like them turning, right?
Just give the eye something to follow.
Yeah.
Even if like you could just do like a curved turn with one leg, that'd be cool too.
Yeah.
Like I think the knife would be a better chance for this one, because that's a better reference point.
Yeah, and it's already getting pretty smeary, like as is.
You guys keep
like,
on
it's-
talking.
it's
I'm gonna look
fine.
up a thing for a thing. I need to get the. Okay. So, Olympia's intro animation is 18 sprites long. Due to timing and all that stuff, I would say you have about 23 frames to work with. Cloud's probably taken up a good 12, if I was to guess. Which means you still have... I can't math. 6 frames to do something else, but you only have 1 frame for the smear. You still have a lot of wiggle room to do, and you don't have to like confine yourself to stand into smear into idle. You could have the character actually like sticking their hand out to show the knife before the smoke the cloud dissipates.
Ooh.
And then it goes into like the clear step into the turn, like clear step into the idol. Just something simple like that to give like it more of a non-generic looking intro. Not to say that this looks generic. The smoke, it's like the cloud itself sets it apart from like Mayo's intro, because Mayo's intro is Omega Zeros and yeah, but you can sell the personality more, and that's, I will always shout this to any modder that's trying to like make a cool mod for their character. They put a lot of time, put in personality in all of the moves you can, like that what makes it memorable. That's what it works. All right, it just works.
Yeah, that's how like Incineroar turned from like people not really liking the guy to be like, oh, he's got stuff.
Yeah,
because he taunts after every move.
Yeah, that's like that's an Incineroar thing. Like, you're not gonna catch like Zero Suit Samus doing that.
Yeah.
And that's why people love like watching him play. Some people not playing him. Some people not like playing against him. But you like watching them, and that's the point of an animator, to make people want to watch your animations. So yeah, personality does that. We can, anybody can tell you to fix your form or whatever. That's like objective stuff. Personality stuff, that's subjective, yes, but if you add it in, already like extra tiers before, like extra tiers above most characters that are just like trying to get out their character as fast as possible.
Malo.
I mean, yeah, but still.
Malo and Astra.
Yeah.
The initial race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I will reiterate, we've been harping on the sprite for a good while now, but like I want to bring it back to, this sprite is really good.
Yeah, like,
this is not your normal effort for people.
there's a reason why Vil like doesn't show up in the podcast enough, because good animators see animations like this in Vil and like the artillery crab and like all these other like mods that hasn't even shown up on Starry Eyes yet. Like, we get so excited seeing it, and immediately was like, okay, what can we do with this? Like, what else can we do with it? It's like, oh, you could do this. Oh, you could do that. You could do this and that. It'll be like a 2-hour long podcast of us just like gushing about 2 or 3 sprites. No one has time for that. Like,
Yeah.
this is not like us ragging on this character and this whatever, or it's like, oh, it doesn't have enough personality, or it's bad. No, the reason why we're bringing this up in the first place, because we're excited on what personality it could have, and that's the exciting part for us. And that's why we can't have really good animations on this podcast, because no one else will get a spot. It's really frustrating because we love seeing this shit. But yeah,
All right.
good animation. It you need that extra little bit of polish, and then it's like bon appetit. Good stuff all around. Anyway, yeah. Personality. That's all you need to add, and cloud stuff.
Alright. Let's go to the next part before we harp on this somewhere.
All right.
Please get it off the screen.
Oh no, it's not. It's another good one.
Oh
We're
Where'd it
gonna
go?
be here for a while.
Where'd it go? Where did it go? It's up here. It's on here. Where'd it go? Is it just too big? Where'd it go?
No.
Yes, it's too small. That's what's happening.
no!
It was at like
Right
off
click.
screen.
Reset. Transform.
There we go. Okay, we're good now. We're good. Okay, so we got a Kobold paladin. I think that's what this was under.
Yeah, it's a Kobold paladin. Yeah.
He's so tiny. Baby.
So cute. The subtle animation. I love it.
Yeah.
It's so simple. It's so simple. Like
Yeah.
normally I would be like, yeah, this is enough because like it's so simple. It's cute.
Yeah.
It's nice. There's a lot of,
I-
but there is a lot of subtleties I would love to add. How about you go for it, Spar?
There's a couple of things that I could say about it, like for the fact that it's so simple, like you can, there's a good little bit you can do with it, but I don't. It's Kobold. It's you don't need to be really eccentric and stuff like that. Like it's simple, and it's charming because of it. But if you're trying, if the reason why this little guy is on this podcast so you can get to like really fluid stuff at some point, then allow me to just do the thing. You gotta look at Shovel Knight a little more.
Yeah.
Shovel Knight does a lot of like bending and stuff and a lot of anti-alias just for the sake of how his armor is structured. I wouldn't say doing that for this. Mainly in the legs though. It's kind of a like a pixel art pet peeve of mine where like the leg just goes up and down.
Yeah, the knees don't bend.
Yeah, just like bend the knees
Like
more.
Mr. Game & Watch type of stuff.
I mean, with Game & Watch, you can still see like the legs bending. Like it's like 1 to 2 frames, but he's still like bending his legs. It's like leg loses mass because it's like going into like the ankles for some reason. I just never understood that. But yeah, just like bending the legs will like fix that tremendously for me. It's just something I've seen all around the internet, and it just it irks me seeing it. But it doesn't mean it was like you're using layers. I'm gonna say it right now. You're using layers. You're brave. You're a lot smarter than I am. I will rag on shit up and down the street, but you use layers, therefore you're smarter than me. Send tweet. Like that's just how it is. But yeah, just like bending legs, as I've already said, probably. You know how we were talking about Lily, like the last submission, where it was like, yeah, personality. You need to show off your personality more. I don't know what the personality of this character is going to be.
Yeah.
I think they're more of like the calm type, like calm and collected type, where they're focused on what they're doing but not doing too much, so they won't exert effort because they have a huge hulking ass armor on them.
Yeah.
They can't move help.
But I don't know, like it's so much of a blank canvas for this character. I think that's just because I barely know anything about the character. I just seen this sprite. I don't have like the whole behind the scenes stuff that I've seen in the extended workshop, like with Koga and like all these other modders that I've just been watching from the background. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just needs a little something to show off what he's up to, you know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, and it's like some Olympia tech that I learned about as I was making Olympia. You don't need to use anti-aliasing. You wanna know what you can do? A slick little shine over the armor.
Ooh, yeah.
That alone will make the sprites different enough so that you could like do like the knee bending stuff and have it be like kind of smooth, but you don't need to like rotate everything and anti-alias and subpixelation and stuff. But just like a shine over the armor, perfect.
Yeah. Go ahead, Wish.
Okay, so here's my thing. Like, if you are keeping this animation, because it is the personality of the character, right? Subtle, strong, trying to. A few things I would do differently. Maybe a small bounce on the hammer, right? You bounce the hammer a little bit, just to get that motion out of the way. But other than that, I would make the pauldrons move. They look very stiff, right? Because armor does have some weight on it. So like if you like lift up and down, there's like subtle movements to them too. It's just me. Like with like if you're keeping this type of motion too. Also, a big glaring thing: the angle at the end of the hammer is wrong.
Oh yeah, it's tilted.
It's wrong. It's like it's almost there, but it just needs to be rotated a little bit. Yeah.
He just hit something too hard and the hammer bent.
I mean, that could just be fixed by just like getting rid of it completely. Like, well, rather just like the hilt. This okay. So now I'm starting to see the Shovel Knight stuff in this, because Shovel Knight holds his shovel the same way. I guess that's just part of the design and all, but like, I don't know. I just don't know. The end of the hammer does need to be fixed regardless. Probably just like a more simple design there. Like, hell, even like a circle.
Oh no. Knuckles just pointed this out. Pillow shaded hammer.
No! I can't unsee it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to work on that. That's your first assignment with this, with fixing it. Get rid of that. Which is weird, because like the rest of the armor is fine, and then you get to the hammer and is that when you literally have the rest of the armor as a reference point.
Also, look into metal shading, like how Shovel Knight does metal shading. It will help you out immensely. Like also, if you're trying to keep like the pixel movement on this one, look into subpixel shading as well, and just like Olympia, like using the shine to basically convey movement.
Yep,
I love that.
It works. Right? It works wonders when you have a idle animation, or like an animation like Olympia's forward strong, or literally any of her strongs, where she's stationary for a little bit, because that's just a cool off of throwing that much weight around, and just impact is that much that you're just like, okay, everything stands still for a second. But you don't want to hold that one frame and have to hard coat that stuff in. Shine right on that one frame. That's enough.
Also,
good.
Someone pointed out it looks like a snow shovel. No, I can't unsee it.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, speaking of Shovel Knight, I got curious and I looked at Shovel Knight's sprite. The arms are the same.
Yep.
Really?
Like actually the same. Hold on. Let me get a screenshot of that. Put it in the call chat. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you're right.
Granted, it is pretty hard to tell just looking at the sprite alone. But
there's
still,
a lot of differences in between like this character and Shovel Knight already.
Yeah,
but,
like the pauldrons and all that stuff are great.
Yeah. Got a little homework. Fix the pillow shading first and foremost. You are not allowed to work on anything else until that is fixed. But yeah. Just legs building, pillow shading, moving some stuff around so it conveys motion a little better, and there you go. Alright.
Or add a little personality. Yep, works too. Anyway.
Whatever happens
All right.
first.
Next one.
All right. 2 more in, and we're gonna get to this one. This character literally showed up today. I've never seen this character before. I think they're a literal newcomer to the extended workshop.
Yeah, it's like, no, like they are very new. Like, how do you call this? They don't have any roles in at all.
Oh yeah, no,
wow.
they just literally showed up and was like, "Hey, I'm working on this mod. Help me out with this."
Fresh meat.
They showed up yesterday.
Wow.
Yesterday.
What?
Okay. Just yesterday.
Well-
Actually, I think that's the time that they also submitted this too.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, first
Yep,
off,
It's literally the same time.
welcome to the.
Like they literally
Yeah.
they walked into oh, like they walked into extended workshop and then suddenly like, there we go. Hi, Adam. Afam drank.
Yeah.
Yes. They're in the chat currently too.
Yeah. Welcome.
Oh boy.
Welcome. Well, hopefully we don't spend an hour and 30 minutes talking about this. There's, you know what? I don't know where you are in pixel art. I don't know where your skill set is. You're doing a pretty good job. My only complaint, and I'm only complaining about this because once you animate everything else, it's gonna be a bitch to balance. You have a lot of skin tone colors. It's like 1, 2, 3. I'm like 4 at least for the skin tone, and that's excessively a lot. Not to say that it's bad, but in the context of Rivals, because you have a lot of animation you got to make after this, that's just a lot to keep track of. Hell, even like base cast Rivals only use like 12 colors at max. I've counted.
And it's like 2 or 3 each per color per color range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only outlier to that is Clarion, and Clarion's effects is a completely different sprite. It's not on like the actual body. It's like an effect. So that gets its own 12 colors. So
okay, there's an explanation. The original sprite was made by someone I commissioned, and I animated.
Okay.
What? Do they know that it was the context of Rivals though? Like,
Kind of looks like it.
They were
'Cause,
aiming
like,
for it.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
It's the only reason why it doesn't hit the bar is because it's using too many colors for the skin tone, and only for the skin tone. Everything else is fine.
Yeah.
and it's also like weirdly desaturated too.
Yeah, I'm gonna take your word for it because I'm a fan of desaturated colors, as you could probably tell. But it's a little too desaturated. I will say that, just a little bit.
How about the animation though?
You got 3 to 4 frames. You got 3 frames for the skirt, but you got 2 frames for the hair. It's inconsistent.
I think it's fine though. To be honest,
I would say that it's fine, but I think it just needs a little more smoothing on the hair, especially when it's like going back to its resting state, because it's kind of snappy.
Like,
True.
I didn't notice the inconsistency between the hair and the skirt, but I did notice the right arm has 0 frames, and that's a little more jarring.
Yeah.
I was about to point that out, but yeah, definitely. Right arm having 0 frames.
It's
Also,
very stiff.
the one lock in front of the left side of the hair is also stationary.
Oh yeah.
No?
Yeah, the animation's very selective, and it's really weird.
I think I understand what's going on. This is a commissioned sprite and one to animate it, right? And you started on getting the basic motion, just like, just getting the idle down, like planning it out. and then you started doing the animation on the skirt, and that took a little longer than you thought it was, and you called it a day. You got burnt out on it. I'm not trying to throw shade or anything. I went through that too for like a good 5 years of my life. Don't worry, it happens.
Yeah.
It's just something to keep in mind of. Animation fatigue is a thing. You gotta be wary of it. As soon as you feel like that you're like hitting a point where it feels like you're essentially drawing on a brick wall and nothing's sticking, just take a second and like do something else. Like clear your head a little bit and then come back to it. Word of advice for everybody. Y'all doing this for free. Slow down.
Yeah.
Like, I get aiming for the best, aiming for the top of the charts and all that stuff, but like, y'all ain't getting paid for this, man. Slow it down. Enjoy yourselves.
Wish it was.
We all wish it was. But yeah, once you feel like you're getting to a point where you feels like you don't know what else to add to it, just take a break. Like, nothing wrong with taking a break. And then like after a little bit, just come back to it. You'll feel refreshed. You start picking out things that we're picking out now by yourself. You get a fresh set of eyes is what they call it. And then you just keep working on it and make a better result because of it. A lot of the weaker animations and the weaker submissions that we get, I can tell you get burnt out on it because you get parts of it right and then everything else is still, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's from burnout.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's kind of like an art block kind of thing too.
Oh yeah.
Real winners quit.
All right, a few minor things though. If I were going to do this,
Mm-hmm.
I've been told in the chat it's purposely white skin, but even then, white skin has like, whenever it's going darker, it has a tone to it. Look into that.
Yeah, and even if it... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you go ahead first.
Okay. And even if it is like unnaturally pale skin, like vampiric kinda, like there is a little too many shades on there. It's like a little messy. It's hard to figure out the details.
Yeah.
Like, the issue isn't the actual like color of it, it's how many there are.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell you what, since we have a channel in the extended workshop called Mod and Critique, right? That's where you put your animations that you would like advice and critiques, like right then and there, or as soon as someone is available. If need be, you could probably at me, or I don't know if Geek or Wisher is okay with that.
Oh, I'm wide open. Yeah.
But yeah, you can like at us and it's like, hey, I worked on the colors a little bit. What do you think? And we'll help you figure that out, because sometimes explaining it on the podcast is fine, but some people just gotta hammer at it through trial and error. Just like people learn at different rates in different ways. Mm-hmm. And sometimes explaining it doesn't really do it justice. I understand that. I'm a very visual learner myself. I'm also a hands-on learner, which is why I'll never learn how to code. But yeah, use the mod critique later, once you're addressing the whole color thing. Before we move on, is there anything else you guys would like to add on to this?
Sure, like only minor nitpicks. Like it doesn't need to, change. Right hand on axe, breaking the arm.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's a minor nitpick. To be honest, it doesn't look like it's breaking, but like maybe a little bit more angle would be good.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That's pretty much it. But yeah. That's all I have.
I
So
would once you get finished with like smoothing out the hair first, because I think that's like the most addressing thing. It's also the easiest fix to do outside of the colors and maybe doing a little bit of the bend should happen at the wrist instead of the elbow is what Wish was trying to say. What I'm really curious about is what is the hand motion on the other hand gonna do? Like, is it gonna like open and close? Is it gonna like do like a wrist roll or something like that? I'm curious on what this character would do with that hand, you know?
Mhm.
One other thing, when the character is rising and falling, when like bending at the legs, try and raise the heel a little bit by like a pixel, and you don't have to do every single part of the foot either. Just enough to convey that part of the body is moving. Like, it's literally like one square, and it's like, yeah, you're done with that. It works. Yeah. I do
That's
that
the great
a
thing
lot.
with pixel art.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see anything else. This is whoever did this commission for you, my goodness, they actually are like really good at this. Is the animation part, but I know you got it. You got this far and you didn't throw out your computer like most people would. You're doing good.
All right.
All right,
Let's get to the last one.
on to our last one, and Sai makes another appearance.
Yes, Mayu.
Oh yeah.
An already released character?
Yep. But
Why are you asking us? It's already out.
I think there's some things. It may be out now. It probably wasn't out when they submitted it, but it's out now.
That's fair.
But there's still some stuff that we can add to this to make it a stronger animation. I've been hit with this move a little too many times than I would like to admit. But the biggest thing that I would say for this is that the jump towards the actual like flurry of attacks is kind of generic looking. Now it's better in game because of audio and visual effects and stuff like that. It's fine then, but looking at it in isolation is like, okay, is he jumping and then doing the attack? What is he doing? You know, like, it doesn't convey the direction she's going, rather. I will say this, and I just now have gotten a chance to notice it. You notice the one frame where he's going for the upward slash, like the slash uppercut?
Mm-hmm.
I love what you did with the shading around the eyes. That is eerie as hell looking, and I love it.
Oh yeah.
It's an attribute actually that was carried over from Omega Zero, from Mega Man 03.
Oh yeah. It just
It works.
the shadow over the eyes with like the color of the iris like blinking through, really good. Amazing touch. I love when fucking shit happens, when that happens and stuff. I love it.
Okay, a bit of context. This sword slash sequence is actually an actual sword slash sequence from Omega Zero.
Mm-hmm.
Like the entire thing, and it does it on charge, and it's exactly what Mayu does in game too. Check them out on Steam Workshop. They're a good character. Just hope that you don't find the infinites.
Yeah.
Oh no, I mentioned it. They're probably gonna find it.
Oh no.
Anyway. Yeah. In any case, just for me in general, this is one of those things where I can't see anything, just because it's already been done. Like, it's fully there. Like, it says that anything, animations or everything that I would say is probably minor nitpicks already, right? Because like the motion, like this is what we say about last stream's keyframes, right? This is like why keyframes are important because like that's the one that sells the that's the one that sells the motion.
Yeah.
And especially here, the smears, the very unique smears I add, also sells the animation pretty well. Even though like there's like some frames where it's kind of frozen in place, but the extra movement from like the smears and some of the side parts is already there. So it's not really, it's just again a minor nitpick. How about you guys? What do you guys see on this one?
The feet are shaky.
Defeated.
Like at the, especially on the start and the end of the sequence, like the feet just kind of like jerk around a little bit, and it's.
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. It is. Then again, it's in motion too. So...
Yeah.
Wait, no, it's not in motion.
It doesn't go. Yeah, it's essentially a raging demon, but on a swordsman, like a swordswoman. Like she dashes forward, and if you get hit with it, it goes into the flurry of attacks. So it's in motion, but only on one half of this collection of animation. The actual attack part of it is stationary. But then again, you can get hit with this both on the ground and in the air. So I don't know. It happens too fast for you to notice it. You literally have to like slow the game down to see it. It's like, oh, this is. But like in the rush of a match or whatever, you're not gonna fucking care.
Yeah, you're just looking at the smears.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that we told about. Like, don't. What do you call this? You're free to break the body as long as it's in very fast motion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. Because you really don't notice it by the naked eye unless you literally just pause exactly in the frame of that. This is why like you get people on Twitter or Tumblr posting like weird
weird
animations,
like weird smear frames and stuff.
I love smears.
Especially, I know, right? It gives so much personality. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got to say.
I think the only thing that I would say afterwards would literally just giving it a little bit more of a, I don't know, just like something extra at the end, because this is a really devastating looking move, and it kind of just like transitions back to like falling animation or something. I don't know, maybe like I don't know why. Probably doesn't fit the character at all, which is why you probably didn't add it in. But like, instead of just like going back into falling, have her turn, like do like a little bit of a slow spin or something like that into the falling animation. I don't know.
You're asking.
It's polish of all things. Like, it's just extra flourish. It's not necessary at all. But if I was to give something else to this already good animation, it'd be that.
Like, even if you don't animate the spin, I would make it a little smoother, because the feet jerk around and like, I don't know, the transition back to idle is a little choppy.
Yeah. But still, very great animation. It hurts when you get hit with it, and that's the most important part.
And I've gotten hit by.
All right, and I think that's it.
Yeah, that is that is all the submissions that we've gotten.
Do you guys know how long we've been taking this?
68 minutes.
It's a full-on hour.
Oh my god, we're almost there.
Actually, we just landed 69 minutes.
There we go.
Hell
nice.
Yeah! And with that, we're gonna conclude this episode. Thank you, everybody.
Just end the stream.
For
all right, hold on. No. I do have an announcement. It is from the extended workshop. We have now a role called the Starry Eyes Aficionado role. So if you want to get, like, the moment we get live, and you guys want to get notified about it, just go and add that role into your Set Your Roles channel inside the extended workshop. So every time we go live, you get to see this and probably maybe more than just Starry. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for joining us in the stream. A
You're
lot
welcome.
of good submissions got submitted in. A lot of good info has been given out. And thank you, Geek, for joining us in this podcast. I am shutting down right now.
Yeah, same.
I don't know. It might look like Geek might be a permanent fixture. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's
Yeah.
fun to be with.
Depends on if they can defeat me.
Get ready for your next battle. Anyway, yeah, you guys probably didn't see me. You guys won't see me just doing that dab post right there. Yeah. And another thing, before we get off, we will be placing our ads, our usernames, Twitter and Discord onto the I'm blanking out.
Description.
Animations experts feedback, just in case you need it, and I'll be pinning that also too, because some of you guys don't know how to call us. And yeah, I recommend to use the modding critique channel more, as you get a constant stream of advice there, and not just from the three of us, but also the rest of the amazing people that we have there too.
And also, you ain't gotta wait a week to get it. That's the biggest plus.
We gotta start working on our frostbite patches now.
Oh god, don't remind me.
Yeah, frostbite is gonna be on Friday, and you'll be seeing our characters in there too. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
All right. And let's do our exit. I think. I don't know.
Yep. Give Geek money.
Hey, I was gonna say that.
Okay. All right, you do the job.
Give me money.
You heard it here first, guys.
Oh shoot! I still haven't got our copies in. Did we? Right.
Yeah, well, we'll fix it in post.
Okay.
Just do it in like text to speed.
Alright.
Oh no.
Well, we'll catch you guys on the next one then.
Yeah. See you next week.
And remember to shine your way and reach your dreams. Keep it simple, everyone.
Peace out,
Give me money.
everybody.